Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Say What, and I am coming on today to discuss everything that's been coming along with the name Dell and Sonya Curry. That includes Steph Curry, Aisha Curry, anybody with Curry has been connected to this situation between Dell and Sonya Curry. So I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about Sonya's come up, as far as she's trying to exit her marriage, her 33-year marriage. I'm hearing that there's talks of her joining the cast of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So if you are on, thank you for joining. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you'll know when I go live, because you just never know when I'm going to go live. I don't really have a schedule right now, but I want to get into it. Excuse me. So please chime in, drop your comments, during the live, and just let me know your thoughts. But I've been kind of researching this matter, so there's a few things that I want to discuss, to talk about. I even want to talk about, the gentleman who Dell, Sonya's, I guess we would call him her estranged husband, is accusing her of being in a relationship with at this time, as well as he's accusing her of having an affair with him during the course of their marriage prior to them becoming separated, which from what I've seen, they were separated March of 2020. So I'm going to be sharing my screen for a couple of sites to show you guys a couple of sites where I've located information pertaining to just, I guess, what's being said, I guess, in the divorce decree or documents, whatever you want to call it. And, it seemed like it's getting pretty ugly. I've even been hearing that Steph and Aisha have kind of taken a side, and they're siding with Steph's mom, Sonya Curry. I haven't personally heard or read any statements that Aisha and Steph have made, but I have heard, from multiple people online that Steph and Aisha have basically sided with Sonya. I haven't heard anything pertaining to the other Curry children, such as Seth and was that Sidel, the baby sister who's now pregnant. From my research, it shows that from what I've learned, she's expecting this November. So she has a new baby on the way that will be coming in November. So it's just all disheartening, timing. Is there ever even a good time? But just when I first learned about, Sonya and Dale going their separate ways, I will say, my mind quickly went to their daughter, because I know she's pregnant, and I remember the whole announcement maybe at the top of the summertime when I learned that she was pregnant, and it just seemed like it was just exciting times for the Curry family. And this is her Sidel's first child. Her brothers have children. Steph has 3 children. Seth has a baby girl, or a daughter. I don't know how old she is right now, but I know he has a daughter. But to hear that, okay, mom and dad, who are kind of like they're at the top of the chain of, they're the glue. I look at it as far as it keeps everything together, because their mom and dad, or grandma and grandpa, so naturally they're looked to be the leaders of the Curry family, the Curry empire. Uh, Dell and Sonya are responsible for the three great children that they've together created. And so we can't discount that, their children are where they are as a result of the parenting, the guidance, all of that. We got to give credit where credit is due. And Dell and Sonya definitely deserve credit for that. And I think because of the success that the three children have had, that's what makes it so disheartening for when people are hearing that, they're going their separate way. Cause it's like, hold up now. Like, we don't have a whole lot of examples of like Black love marriages, marriages lasting 33 years. I mean, that's a long time. Like, let's talk about when the last time we heard of a celebrity couple that's still kind of in our face that's been married for that long. It's just not something just within our Black community that we see a lot or that's talked about a lot. So then when we hear that is ending, it's just like, okay, Houston, we have a problem. What's going on here? We need to fix this. This can't happen. But as a married person and a person who's been married for almost 17 years, I do understand that people go through things. And a lot of times on the people on the outside, you don't know what's going on within couples' relationships. You just see them together. They may have this presence of a united front. You may see them have kids that are together. You may see them have what looks to be a good lifestyle. And then you hear the number associated with how long they've been married. So you're like, bet, like they winning, they got it together, like write the book. What's the blueprint? But I can say that it's not always what it looks to be on the surface, So, and I think many of people within our Black community, we don't know that because we don't really see that very often. It's not like it's tangible maybe within our families or our immediate families for us to see the real deal or what, the ins and outs that goes into a marriage and keeping it together while also raising kids, while also making a living, having a career. Like, it's a lot of moving pieces within a marriage to keep that ship going. And unlike I know a lot of Black families, I can say that I am fortunate enough to see examples of, multiple couples who've been married for number of years, just as the Currys have, but that's not coming from my side. It's coming from my husband's side. So like I said, I've been married comes October 1st, 17 years. I've been with my husband for 21 years. So when we got together, I got to see like what it looks like with, a marriage, just seeing what a marriage looks like in general and working through things and experiencing things. Like, I got to see all that, just from joining the family, seeing it from the in-laws or the offsprings, the aunts, the uncles, like everybody's kind of been married, got numbers, like big numbers like that, like the Currys. But I do know that just because we see large numbers, it doesn't mean that there's no problems in paradise. It's just a lot of times I've come to see that couples will stay together for the children. They'll stay together because this is what we do. I've heard, family members say, hey, this is what we do. Grandma and granddaddy stayed married for many years. So regardless on how our situation may be, I don't believe in divorce. Like, I hear all these different reasons as why people stay married. And so those are things that we got to, factor in. So when I heard that Sonya had filed for divorce, me knowing what I've come to know as a married person and seeing other marriages, what came to mind is, okay, this sounds like a woman who's ready to do her and who's saying, you know what, I'm done with, faking it till we make it, putting on this facade. I'm just ready. Our children are grown and gone. We got grandchildren. I'm ready to do me and not just stick around for all these other variables that don't contribute to me really feeling good inside. So now, I'm just ready to go on. Now, how she went about it, now that's what we're here to discuss. Because my thing is, I do understand people do grow apart. But as they say, it's not often what you do is how you do it. And the discussion that's been going on has been centered around basically the hows of, okay, why or how, the reason as to, okay, well, Sonya wanted to leave, well, why did she do it this way? Now, from the research, Sonya is denying the narrative, I guess we'll call it, that her husband is putting out there pertaining to her having extramarital affairs, her leaving, all of that. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about some things. Yeah. We're going to talk about some things. The first thing I want to talk about is just the accusations on, the accusations that Dell and Sonya have on one another. And we kind of going to go from there. Okay. So first, it says Steph Curry's parents, Sonya and Dell, accuse each other of cheating. Visibly looks like a happy couple. But as I say, we got to take it beyond two people being able to put on a smile and take great pictures and produce wonderful children. Period. So it reads, Steph Curry's mom, Sonya Curry, says estranged husband Dell Curry cheated on her with multiple women during their 33-year marriage. The Currys made similar cheating allegations against each other in court documents obtained by TMZ. TMZ Sports broke the news. 55-year-old Sonya filed divorce on June 14th in North Carolina court, citing Dell's infidelity and marital misconduct. Dell responded with a scandalous court filing of his own, accusing his estranged wife of acts of illicit sexual misconduct prior to their trial separation last year. Dell also claims she is now living with another man, a very rich man. Dell claims Sonya should be prohibited from collecting alimony because she violated the bonds of their marriage. Sonya fired back that she's in a dating relationship with another man who treats her like a queen. Sonya said her current relationship didn't begin until months after she and Dell, 57, quietly agreed to legally separate. She also notes that she is not living with the wealthy man. She lives alone in a modest apartment because Dell kicked her out of their home. She claimed it was actually Dell who was unfaithful to her by hooking up with multiple loose women during their marriage. She put up with his cheating ways for the sake of their children. Sonya says Dell's infidelity was known to her children and close friends, and that his cheating was basically an open secret. There are rumors that Steph, 33, convinced his mom to stay with his dad when she threatened to divorce him years ago. Sonya told friends that as Steph's popularity with the Warriors increased, Dell started behaving like a single man again. Dell and Sonya coupled married in 1988. In addition to Steph, they share son Seth Curry, 31, who plays for the Philadelphia 76ers, and daughter Seidel Curry, 27. Sonya claims she didn't initially file for divorce to protect Dell and their children Sonya claims she didn't initially file for divorce to protect Dell and their children from possible public exposure and scrutiny. Sonya says once Dell publicly accused her of being unfaithful, she was left with no choice but to defend her honor. Sonya claims the couple separated in March 2020. Y'all, it's a lot. It's a lot. I look at this as a classic case also of tit for tat. So Sonya talked about, and you know, we all can just talk about just the culture of just athletes. And, you know, we hear about it still playing today. You know, how often we hear about an athlete stepping out on his wife. Many times they get caught. But that's not something that's unheard of. And this man, you know, Dell Curry, you know, he was a basketball player at one point, living whatever the life of a basketball player. So is it far-fetched, or do we not believe that there could have possibly been infidelity taking place during those years? We're not even talking about like posts, because she kind of didn't indicate exactly when he was stepping out on her, but she said that it was multiple times, and it kind of became a known thing with everyone. And like I said, like it seemed like with the culture of your athletes, even with musicians, like we hear about them stepping out, you know, just as we talk about men stepping out quite often. It's just like something that comes along with the territory. And then oftentimes, you know, it's more often than not, is not followed up with that woman that they're with has left them because of that. Like this, if they do eventually leave, like it's way down the line after we heard of the whole stories of or allegations of infidelity. It's not like on that first time or two. So when Sonya talked about him stepping out on her, it wasn't a far-fetched idea to me that may have been taking place. And as she said in the article, she kept the marriage going for basically for the to protect the family, the image, you know, Steph, Dell, like she took one for the team. You know, how often do we see that happen where women will per se take one for the team, and they'll just kind of continue to go along and play the game, even though, you know, there's disrespect taking place. But it seems like, you know, as a woman, the culture is, hey, just take one for the team, you know, just pick yourself up, just keep going. And that's why when I learned that she had filed for a divorce, my mindset just went into, okay, it sounds like she's basically ready to start living for her and not putting others before her. So it's like, okay, I'm about to dip out. I can't do this anymore. And then now, you know, as we're getting into like the details behind it, it's just like, okay, well, it's going down the line of kind of what my initial thoughts were, but my initial thoughts wasn't, you know, infidelity, you know, being a part of the story. Well, let me just keep it real. My initial thoughts wasn't infidelity being a part of the story as far as Dell accusing her of cheating. But it wasn't like an idea or far-fetched idea of, say, when she was ready to kind of start living for her, that she was tired of maybe dealing with maybe infidelities and him stepping out of the marriage. Because more often than not, when we hear about relationships ending, things like that, especially when they're high profile relationships, more often than not, you're more so hearing about the man stepping out. And especially, we're dealing with someone who was once, a professional athlete. So now with the details coming out, it's just like, wow, okay, well, Sonya stepped out. Okay, well, dang, who she stepped out with? And the next part we're going to get into is who she's been accused of stepping out with. A gentleman by the name of Steve Johnson, a white man by the name of Steve Johnson. He's a former football player. So I'm going to share my screen so we can get into who is Steve Johnson, because I wasn't familiar with him. So I had to research him to learn, who this man was. So this is Steve Johnson. Back on my screen. Steve Johnson's net worth. How rich is the former NFL player? So we're going to get into who Steve Johnson is, so you guys can kind of understand more of the background. So let me scroll down. Steve Johnson is an American retired football player. He has played in the National Football League, NFL, for the New England Patriots. Stephen was selected by the New England Patriots in the 1988 NFL Draft. Johnson has recently been accused by Dell Curry of having an affair with his estranged wife, Sonya Curry. As of 2021, Steve Johnson's net worth is estimated to be around $500 million. So it shows, his date of birth. So you can see what his age is. He's from Huntsville, Alabama, retired football player, net worth $5 million, and it doesn't have a relationship status. So that's Steve Johnson. Let's see down here. Steve Johnson's personal life. Steve Johnson has not unveiled much about his personal life, though he has been recently in a controversial news after the former football player, Dell Curry accused him of having an affair with his ex-wife, Sonya Curry. Well, they're still married. So as per sources, his ex-wife, Sonya Curry, has been dating Stephen Johnson since the time they were married. According to recent court documents, Dell Curry claimed that Sonya is living with Stephen Johnson in Tennessee, and he further claimed that his former wife, Sonya, should not be entitled to any alimony. However, Sonya clearly denied Dell's allegations by saying she is living all alone. So it says Sonya clearly denied Dell's allegations by saying she is living all alone for a long time since Dell would not allow her to stay at the house. Sonya has clearly mentioned that she has not cheated Dell with Stephen Johnson, though she is seeing someone else. Her new relationship started after she separated from Dell legally in March 2020. Sonya accordingly accused Dell of having an extramarital affair with multiple women. So that's who Steve Johnson is. Interesting. So what I've also come to learn too during my research about Steve Johnson is that he also attended Virginia Tech, and he's actually friends with Dell Curry. Now I've heard someone, another content creator referenced them as being best friends, but I didn't see that when I researched it. I saw that they pretty much were buddies, but I didn't see anything that came up to say they were best friends. But all three attended Virginia Tech. Of course, Dell played basketball. Stephen played football and Sonya was a volleyball player. So they all three were athletes. But yes, this both Dell and Sonya have a long history. Both have had a long standing relationship with Steven Johnson. So that kind of makes for it to be, more disturbing, more messy or salacious, just because it's just like, wow, like a family, this all happened with a family friend per se. So let me see. There was another article about that, as far as the connection between the Currys and Steven Johnson, that I want to share with you guys so you can, see how the relationship is being connected. Steve Johnson has been connected to Sonya and Dell Curry. Let me see, which article was that? Let me see, maybe it's this one. No, that one's not it. That's not the one. Let's see. Okay, I think it's this one right here. Okay, so it says Dell Curry was college friends with Steven Johnson, the man who would eventually steal his wife Sonya from him. Let's scroll down and get into it. So the article reads, many people will think this sounds like a Tyler Perry movie, but this happens in real life a lot. There are two types of friends in the world. Your ride or die friends are more like family than friends, and casual friends will stab you in the back, or in this case, take your girl. If the situation presents itself and it is beneficial to thee. Dell Curry and Steven Johnson weren't best friends. When they both went to school at Virginia Tech, but they were buddies. Dell played basketball there from 1982 to 86, and Johnson played football there from 1984 to 87. Dell married Sonya in 1988 while he was a member of the Charlotte Hornets. Johnson and Dell were good enough friends to go to Duke games together to watch Seth Curry play. Wow. Who knows what exactly happened, but it likely went something like this. It looks like they're showing the Biz Markie D Just Friends song. Wow, petty. I am semi-joking, but it is highly possible at some point Sonya started confiding to Johnson about the problems in their marriage, and next thing you know, they were playing naked Twister. Listen, that how often do we hear about that, where affairs and entanglements and things like that happens as a result of just platonic relationships opening up to one another, and then basically this whole emotional affair begins, because that's a thing, where you develop these emotional ties to someone outside of the marriage. And unfortunately, far too many times we hear about that happening with someone who's a friend or even another family member. Like we've heard this. Many of us have heard things like this happen before. It just makes it that much more kind of messed up when it's someone so close to home or so close to the family that everyone knew, the children. Because if Sonya and Dell had a close relationship with this man, Steven, of course, their children did as well, wouldn't you think? Their relationship goes way back further before they even, got married and had their children. So their children knows this man. So it further goes on to say, no wonder Dell is so upset. Dell Curry says his estranged wife, Sonya, cheated on him with a former New England Patriots tight end and then lied to him about it. It's all spelled out in the court documents obtained by TMZ Sports, in which Steph Curry's father says Sonya is and has been dating Steven Johnson, a 6th-round pick in 1988 NFL draft. In the docs, Dell says Sonya began her extramarital affair with Mr. Johnson during their marriage and before the date of separation, and she lied to Dell each time she cheated on him. Dell in the docs says Sonya is actually living with Johnson in Tennessee and claims she should not be entitled to alimony because it. So let's talk about that part, fam. Like, do you guys feel like, he has a point? Because more often than not, I hear about like if there is infidelity in a marriage and if there's like a prenup, it's like, okay, that could kind of X out the terms of the prenup if there's infidelity. But again, I would imagine, it probably can just kind of go off of how your prenup was written. I haven't even heard talks of there even being a prenup with this couple. So it seems like they got married very early on in Dell's career. So I believe more often than not, when people are getting married really early in their career, when they're encountering success, prenups, a lot of times, we hear that didn't really come into play because it's like at that time they really didn't feel like they had maybe like a whole lot, or they didn't, I don't know, they just didn't feel like it was a need. So I haven't heard any talks of a prenup pertaining to this couple. So alimony, I guess I would imagine that's just something dealing with just marriage in general that has nothing to do with prenup. So I'm guessing there must not be a prenup in question, since it's like we've been hearing about everything else pertaining to this couple. So I would think if there was a prenup, that term would have kind of came up at some point. And I've been kind of doing a lot of research and I have not seen or read anything pertaining to a prenup or even heard any other content creators talk about a prenup. So now all we're working with is alimony. And typically alimony takes place when, say, if there was one person within a relationship that either made all of the money or a significant or significantly more money than the other party. Now, this can go either whether it's the man or the woman, because we've been hearing about some couples where the woman have been having to pay pay out to the man. So that is a whole thing. We just mostly hear about it mostly was that Kelly Clarkson. I think recently, like I learned, like she got to pay out big to her estranged husband. I don't think that their divorce is officially final, but that was kind of pretty ugly because she was married to, is that RHOBH McIntyre? Is that her name? Son. So that's pretty ugly, but that's an example of someone who's kind of had to pay out. Who else? But there's some other people I can't think of right off the bat right now where the woman was kind of like, writing that check. So Sonya, I have seen in my research that she did, I'm not quite sure if it's in this article, where she did have a Montessori school that she once ran, and all 3 of her children grew up going through her Montessori school. I don't know if that has dissolved, if she doesn't have any income anymore coming from that, but it seems like sis is like still looking for that alimony check to come through. So let's see what else this article has to say. It says, keep your enemies close, but your close friends even closer. This is a speculation that Dell believes the affair was going on for a long time, way before they separated. Sonya claims that it only happened after they separated. No matter when it happens, Stephen, you are a dirty dog for sleeping with your friend's wife, no matter what they were going through. Facts. Like, I agree with that. So we're going to move on past that. Sonya claims she isn't living with Johnson, but she has been spotted in Tennessee with him since Dell kicked her out of the house for her infidelity. She has claimed Dell was unfaithful their entire marriage, and the whole family know about it. So she doesn't know why he is so salty about her stepping out on him. It makes you wonder, what is it also going on behind closed door with Steph and Aisha Curry? Again, that part. So we'll get into that part, a little bit later. But it says, in the end, all these people are wealthy, so they will be fine. So I'll show you this. It says, flip the page for the Twitter from Steven Johnson speaking on how he was friends with Dell before stealing his wife. So I want to show you that because it kind of links, the relationship between the Currys and Steven Johnson. Just talked with former VTTE Steve Johnson, was heading to Charlotte to get Dell and Sonya Curry and flying to Indy for Duke's game. Cool. So that was March 29th, 2013. So as of then, they was all kind of rolling together. It's kind of like family friends. So there you go, as I've said, from what I've learned during my research, Steph and Aisha are basically providing support for Sonya. Also, I've learned that Sonya, Steph and Aisha, basically they're not happy with Dad, Dell Curry, for him being the one to initially put these details out there in these streets. Because it's just like, wow, Dad, like, you really didn't have to go there and put all of that out there the way you did. So that's what I'm hearing as to why Aisha and Steph are like on Sonya's side, because Sonya didn't come out the box putting out like details like that. Dell did it. And to me, I interpreted that Dell did it because he basically was in his feelings about her leaving and moving on to quote unquote the friend. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, let's really talk about it. I'm finna air out. You know how sometimes I just looked at this as like a moment, a moment to be petty. Like, and a lot of times, when you hurt, you like, okay, anybody can get it. You just don't care. You ain't thinking about no brand. You ain't thinking about nothing. You just like, yo, I'm finna air it all out today, right now. And I feel like that's what happened with Dell. It's just one of those things, like the more, he was sitting in his feelings about just the situation, the wife saying, no, I'm serious. This time I'm not coming back. It's just like, hurt becomes anger, as they say, like when you go through things, or especially in a relationship, you go through these different emotions. Like you can start out being like hurt, then you're sad, then you become angry, and then you go back to being hurt. Like it's all these emotions that you go through. And I feel like that is what Dell is going through. However, I feel like Dell, because as Sonya said, Dell have stepped out on her multiple times. Now, I haven't heard Dell come out with any rebuttals to say that's not true, So my thing is, are we dealing with a classic case of, okay, yeah, I dished it out, but now with it don't feel too good being on the other end. It don't feel too good being on the other end. Or like, yeah, I dished it out, but you would forgive me and we'd work through it. But Sonya, why aren't you open to trying to work through your indiscretions? Like we've worked through things before. I get the impression that Dell would like to continue on with his marriage, but Sonya, when they did that little trial separation, that was kind of like a new term for me when they talk about they had this trial separation. And they decided to just keep it as is. I'm getting the vibes, and you guys can just let me know what you think, but I'm getting the vibes that Dell would have kept the relationship going with his wife if Sonya was wanting to do just that. But I feel that when Sonya got a taste of just life without being or doing wifely duties, as Dell Curry's wife, she started dating and seeing, what the grass is like on the other side, having old conversations with somebody from her past, you start, you starting to think about, y'all start reminiscing and all of that. I think that she was just like, you know what? I don't want to. I know what it's like being with Dell. I'm ready to try something different. Like, I'm just ready to, because she's like 56, like in her mid to late 50s. She's just like, okay, I'm ready to explore something else. Like, I know what comes with being with Dell. Like, I know we were married for 33 years. Like, I know what it's like. And I'm kind of at this point to where I don't feel like I have to, for a particular reason, keep things going to maintain the relationship with him. Like, I'm good now. I got two, sons who are very successful. My daughter, she's doing well. She has a husband now. He's also, successful. So I feel like Sonya feels like, okay, I'm good. Like, I have 3 kids that are doing very well financially, and I don't have to worry about, okay, making me being good at the hands of, I guess, of Dell anymore. Like, because I feel like there was a time where, and a lot of times, women will continue to stay in situations and relationships that they're not completely happy or content with for financial reasons, and I feel like Sonya, that's what she did for a long time. She stayed for the family, and then of course she got finances. Like, all of that goes into play. You have this lifestyle. I'm sure her money wasn't ever looking like his money when he played in NBA, even with her school. She had some income coming in, but did she get rich off of having the Montessori school? I don't get that vibe that she did. It was just like, a business that, she had, that she was doing, that she was able to run while also teaching her children. So it's kind of like, it was a double benefit. I can kind of teach my children while also running a business for other kids to learn. So Dell, was the one holding down the household, which, as he should, he's the man of the house. But I feel like right now, sis is like, okay, yeah, there was a time where all that was important, and I felt like I needed that to sustain, to do this, that, but I don't feel that way anymore. So I'm ready to cut my losses. And I think that Dale was like, what? Because he was just used to being able to do him, and he can say sorry or maybe buy her some whatever, and they just smooth over it. Because as Sonya have said in these articles, like, everybody know that he been doing this stuff. It's no known thing. Just like as I started out earlier in this live, that how many other athletes have we learned about where they're repeat cheaters, and that wife is still there, and the world, or women in particular, wonder like, why is she still there? Like, so Dale is just another man, just an older man who basically was just on that type of stuff, as far as, the shenanigans that come with being an athlete. Don't make it right, but that's part of that life. You got some people who say, I don't even want to date an athlete, because you already kind of know what comes with that life. Just like, if you're really, I think really with any kind of entertainer, they're just magnets to just, you got your thoughts, your groupies, like they're just magnets to just people wanting to just slide in. Like, it is what it is. And Sonya dealt with it. But fast forward to today, sis is like, nah, I'm tired. I don't want to do it no more. And then Dale's like, you been doing it. Why not? So, but the other piece that I learned that was new is that Sonya has an agent, and they're in talks with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills about her joining their cast possibly next season. So I'm going to share my screen again, because I found an article speaking on that. So I'm going to share that and let you guys marinate on that. And again, if anybody have anything to say, please just drop it in there in the, on the live stream. We can get the conversation popping. But y'all, it's just so many layers to it to where it's just like, yeah, it ain't looking like sis trying to look back. So this article reads, Sonya Curry in negotiations to join Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yeah, so this is Sonya. And it reads, Steph Curry's mother, Sonya Curry, is looking to become a reality star. MTO News has learned. We spoke with the Bravo executive who tells us that Sonya's agent reached out to the network and they are in talks to bring Steph's mama into the Real Housewives franchise. Another thing is I'm thinking too, because Sonya also knows like, okay, well, if I'm about to leave, I got to be smart and figure out, okay, how I can start, bringing my own income, my own revenue in, because it seems like her life was centered around, I guess, Dell, the money that Dell was bringing in to support the family. But if she's trying to go her separate way, she has to think more on a independent level, more of a self level, like, okay, now I'm going to be out here by myself. She got the man that she may or may not be dating. I think I found an article that she did acknowledge that she is dating Steve Johnson, but she's saying that it started after the separation and they're not living together. So her mindset is like, yo, I want to try to get some coins coming in that I can bring in that's based on me, my name, not some man. So I won't be in a situation again where I find myself being codependent and feeling like, okay, I got to settle. Listen, ladies, like once you've experienced that of having, depending on somebody and maybe feeling like, okay, you got to endure some things because of what this person may have to offer you. Like, I know that can't be a good situation. I've talked to many of ladies who that's been their situation, or I'll see it. And even without them saying it, I know that if it wasn't for them needing that man's finances, they wouldn't be there enduring what it is that they're enduring. That's why it's important for ladies to have some sort of independence, because it can go a long way. And when you have that independence, you don't really feel like you got to maybe put up with certain things, because okay, well, I don't have to be here for this person to provide shelter for me, to put food on the table, clothes. Like, I can do things for myself. I may not be able to have it on as grand of a level as maybe this person was able to provide. But the point is that I can take care of myself, and with hard work, I can get to where I want to be. So I feel like Sonya is changing her mindset to think more independent. That's what I feel. And it says, according to MTO snitch, Sonya may end up on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills as early as next season. The Bravo executive explains Sonya has wanted to be a reality star for years. She and Dell pitched a couple of shows to Bravo. But according to MTO News Insider, Bravo passed on all of the shows that Sonya pitched to the NBC Universal-owned network. The executive continued, their ideas were boring, and Sonya's now ex-husband, Dell, didn't want any excitement or drama in the show. But now that Sonya is single, she's taking control of her life and is apparently embarking on a new career in front of the camera. MTO News is hearing reports that Sonya is allegedly open to joining the Real Housewives series. Quote, we're working on getting her on the Beverly Hills Housewives. Nothing signed yet, but I think she'll be a part of next season's cast, Bravo's insider confidently told MTO News. Sonya's addition to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, if Bravo can pull it off, should be a ratings bonanza for the show. The ratings for all of the Housewives franchises have dropped in recent years, with the exception of the Beverly Hills series. Sonya ain't playing like Sonya want to be a star, y'all. Like Sonya, she's like, listen, Dell is been a run. We created, beautiful children. We got grandchildren, but it's time for me to bounce. I'm trying to get this bag. Look, I supported you while you were getting it. Now it's my turn, and I'm looking for some excitement in the next half of my life because she's over 50. So I got to go. I got to do this. And she comes off to me as she's at a point where she's just trying to live her best life. And I believe that. I don't watch any of the Housewives series. When I did watch it, I only watched Real Housewives of Atlanta. I never tried to get into any of the other ones. But given that everything that's coming along right now with Sonya, I can believe that people will be inclined to tune in to hear what she has to say. Because I think people were already kind of intrigued by her, just seeing her at the games. She has this youthful flair about her. She's obviously beautiful. She just got a different energy than Dell. But, as they say, opposites attract. But she just seems like she's just has a lot of life in her. There was this one clip I seen that, I don't know if it was from back in 2016, where she was at one of the boys' games and she was in the box and she was dancing. And I guess it was one of Steph's teammates, and she was kind of like dancing around him, on him. And then like Dell was just kind of sitting in another part of the box, just looking like, I don't know if he was embarrassed or I don't know what, but they have just a different type of energy going on. So if you just kind of go off of that, it's just like, okay, well, yeah, I can see that this day has come. But, they've been married for 33 years. So you still got that layer of, wow, like what was so bad to where now after 33 years, you're like, yo, I can't do this anymore. I'm about to go. Because I think they got married when she was maybe like 22 or something like that. So she was really, young. So, Steph, they got married, I think the same year they had Steph. So she was young. So she's basically has spent most of her adult years, in this marriage with Dell. And as we've seen, it ain't all been good. But again, too, that's marriage, but it comes down to the good should outweigh the bad, because in a marriage, you are going to go through things. There will be the good and the bad, but it's a balancing thing. It comes down to, okay, what do you have more of? And it seems like for Sonya to be ready to go, she felt like it was more of those down days, more of those days of not feeling good, within the union, that has her to be like, I'm just ready to kind of move on and do something else. And the thing about it is, their youngest, I think Seidel's maybe 26, 27. So even beyond the kids being raised and becoming grown, their marriage still kind of stayed together for a good amount of time. Because you see a lot of marriages, like soon as the youngest, the last child becomes grown, like they're trying to, exit the situation. But, Sonya continued to, keep it going for whatever her reasons are. But she talked about, for the sake of Steph's career and, Dell's name. So she, as I say, she was taking one for the team. And now she's like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm ready to kind of move on and do something different with my life. So joining the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is kind of like that next phase that she would like to transition to. I definitely think it will increase her popularity. I think her, her as a brand of her own, like I really think that it's going to kind of take her to a different level. And then the thing about it is, if she take it even that far, I think, because as we've seen, sometimes these housewife shows can kind of do a number on your relationships. I don't know if that would necessarily be a good thing as far as with, if she is, in this relationship, well, I think she says she is with the gentleman, Steve Johnson, if that would be a good thing even for their relationship, because now all eyes are really going to be on her, as we see, she's a beautiful woman. So it's going to be like, okay, is he going to even be able to keep her attention? Because I feel like it became easy because, she was in a marriage. And if she was talking to Steve on the side, it was more convenient for her to speak to someone that was already kind of in the circle, a family friend, versus developing relationships with new people. Like, it's more justification you're putting into like your whereabouts, who you're talking to, things like that. So I think maybe her talking to the Steve Johnson guy could have just been more of a convenience thing. Whereas if she has, say she becomes, divorced and she's completely single, oh, she's open to the world. So that means that she doesn't even have to necessarily be with the Steve Johnson gentleman, like, because now she rightfully is just going to be able to entertain any gentleman that steps to her that meets whatever qualifications or whatever. So I'm not going to even hold my breath that relationship with the Steve Johnson guy would even last. And I don't feel like it would be about him not wanting it to last. I think it's going to be her. She's going to be like, listen, I've been married for 33 years. I'm ready to kind of explore my options. And at one point, you were just a convenient option. I feel like this Steve Johnson guy just may very well be a convenient option just because, she was just trying to keep things on the low. It's easy to, hide, if somebody sees you with somebody already, people are not going to maybe think twice of it. Like, oh, okay, that's just her friend, versus like them seeing you with some complete strangers that they've never known you to be connected to. Then, okay, now you got to start talking, but like, okay, who is that? So now once she's fully out there, like single, I'm like, okay, she's going to be able to entertain whoever. And it's not going to even matter with who, it's not going to matter who people see her talking to. And I don't know, something about Sonya, to me, I feel like if there was a viable opportunity there for her to date someone younger, I feel like she would. I don't know, because I was quite surprised when I learned of, when Dell put out there, her cheating and who the man was, that it was somebody in her age group, because I would have just thought that it would have been just someone younger. That's just, because a lot of times when we hear about older people and if there's any stepping out, things like that, usually it's going to be some younger person coming into play, especially with the men, a younger woman. But, we got our older women now that's like entertaining younger men now. So I feel like Sonya, especially when she started getting that popularity, been on a Housewives show, it's going to show her life. I feel like, it's going to be, younger men, people sliding in the DM trying to shoot their shot. It's going to be some younger men, probably some men who are still in the NBA playing with her kids. Now, that's going to be the sad part. It's going to probably have her sons crying in the fetal position. But listen, y'all remember when at one point, we were hearing about LeBron James' mama night, messing around with some of his, teammates. Like, we've heard that before. So that ain't like unheard of, where we hadn't heard of athletes, moms being connected to, other athletes and things like that. But I just don't see Sonya, just settling down with this middle-aged white man. And, I showed you guys, what he looks like. And Sonya's a beautiful woman. I feel like, she still has it to be able to pull a younger, fit, attractive man. I feel like she has it to kind of pull kind of really whatever kind of caliber she wants. But I'm sure she's going to be looking at, okay, what he's bringing to the table, with that check looking, with that money looking like. She's going to be looking at those things. But you got a lot of, younger men who got the bag, who got the money. So I think Steve, I don't think that he, really her being on the Housewives is really what he want. He probably think, oh, that's going to be cool just because he going to feel like, oh, I can be on there too, or people going to see my lady on there. But I doubt he's thinking about it from the standpoint that I'm thinking about it from a woman's standpoint of just that visibility that she's going to get. And many people operate from the mindset of, if you're not married, you're single. So let's just say her divorce comes to an end with Dell. She's going to be single until she gets married again, regardless of who, if they say, oh, she's dating Steve, like to men, she's still single, which means to them, they still have an option. They still have a chance, and they're going to be shooting a shot. And as we've seen, I pointed out, Steve's network is like 5 million. I heard he had a lot of money and stuff, but I was expecting actually, it to be more than 5 million. Cause I think when I looked up Dell's network, it was maybe about 6 million. So I was expecting for Steve's to be more. So I don't know if, Google, the internet is kind of lowballing his net worth, but if Sonya can go with someone who got the money plus somebody who's kind of fit, youthful, I think she would try to want to have the whole package. I really think so. I would be probably more surprised if, Sonya do move on and just marry this Steve guy. But if she does, I believe that she is going to be trying to, still bump it up against what some other options are, So it's going to be interesting, to see how this play out. But if she go on reality TV, we better watch it play out on reality TV. And I don't know how Steph and Aisha are going to feel about that. So even with them, I've been hearing people talk about, okay, if this is happening with the parents, should Steph kind of take note and be scared, as it pertains to his own situation, his own household? Like I've heard some men say, oh, well, Steph siding with his mom, this lets you know, how things are going on in his household, I guess, with Aisha running the show. So it's, it's all unfortunate. I think that whatever moves that Sonya do make, it is going to impact as far as Steph Curry, his brand, just because, that's his mom. So when people talk about mom here, they're going to talk about, Steph, it's all kind of, it's like I guess you could say like a family business, the Currys. So I don't know if Steph really going to be ready for her. I think I could see Aisha thinking like, yes, go for it, but I don't know if Steph really going to be ready for his mom being on the reality TV show, especially as a single woman. Like that's going to be like a whole different look where people really, it's just going to open it up for people to be speaking on your mom, men in particular, and what son wants to be hearing about some man saying things about their mom. It's going to take things to a whole nother level to where I think even if we don't come to see it play out like behind the scenes, it's going to be conversations and things going on about what's being displayed on the show, what the mom is displaying on the show. Because again, to be on reality, you got to have some drama going on. Otherwise, they ain't gonna bring you back. And Sonya knows, that, okay, if I'm going on this reality show, I got to bring it. And if this is the opportunity she been waiting on for so long, I feel like she gonna be trying to get the people what they want because she's been wanting to be on TV. Sis is like, listen, I'm tired of being in the shadows, I'm just the mom of whoever. I'm ready to be it. I'm ready to be the brand. It is more to me than being the mom of 2 professional athletes, being a grandma. Like I'm getting vibes that she's ready for people to see her for who she is, not for what she produced. Like, she's like, y'all, look at me. I meet Sonya Curry, basically. This is who I am. And I don't think that the men in her life really, truly are going to be ready for that. I don't think they are. But, we'll have to watch and see this play out. So you guys drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this situation, Do you feel like, Sonya, she, are you like, yes, sis, do your thing? Or are you kind of looking at her sideways, like, nah, girl, put the booty shorts down, go back home to your husband? Like, what are your thoughts? Or do you feel like, Dell, yeah, just call her out, air it all out. She wrong for doing you dirty? Or do you look at it as like, okay, well, Dell, you did your thing and now Sonya trying to do hers. So two wrongs don't make a right. But I just think that now it's just Sonya's giving him a taste of his medicine, what he's, given during the marriage. And she's like, okay, well, it doesn't feel too good, right? And Dell is feeling it. And to me, I definitely get these hurt vibes, which, I don't blame him from being hurt. But at the same time, you can't mistreat or do what you want to do and then expect for someone to just stick around forever and endure it, or expect for someone to not dish it back out. Like, those are things that we got to take into account when we're within our relationships with the type of energy that we deliver to people. We got to ask ourselves, okay, if this is what I'm giving, am I good with receiving that same type of energy? It's a give or take. You can't give this type of, oh, I'm gonna do what I want and you need to just work through it. You can't give that, but then when the person try to give that back to you, it's just like, nah, I don't like this. Doesn't feel good. Don't do that to me anymore. Like, so that's what I'm getting. But thank you again for anybody who has been able to catch the live stream. If you do catch the playback, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's any topics out there that you would like to discuss out there. And, I definitely, do my research. And if I feel like it's something that the people may want to hear, I will bring it back to you. So please thumbs up the video, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And until the next broadcast, peace.